Hi children, good morning. My name is Girish. I teach physical sciences for you. So already right from 8th class, the subject physics is divided from the science. Yes or no? So you'll be having two textbooks. One is physical sciences and the second one is biological sciences. Right? Here in physical sciences, the two, one is physics and the second one is chemistry, are included in one textbook. So there are certain topics which are related to physics and there are certain topics which are related to chemistry. So in 9th class we have 12 chapters. In 9th class we have 12 chapters, and these 12 chapters are very important, and these 12 chapters, some of the chapters are related to physics and some of them are related to chemistry. Right, so let us have a look into our index. Okay, the first lesson in our 9th class physics textbook is matter around us. Matter around us. So here this topic is related to chemistry, and second one is motion. Second one is motion. This is related to physics. Third one is laws of motion. Once again, this is also related to physics. And fourth one, refraction of light at plane surfaces. So refraction is another type of phenomenon, like reflection is one phenomenon and refraction is another phenomenon. Anyway, we will learn later. That is also related to physics. Gravitation, okay, it is also related to physics. And sixth one is matter pure? Once again, it is related to chemistry. Right, and atoms, molecules and chemical reactions. So the meaning of this title indicating that this is also related to chemistry. Floating bodies related to physics, and what is inside atom related to chemistry. Work and energy physics, and heat physics, and sound is also physics. So there are how many chapters, children? 12 chapters. Now let us start our physics portion with the chapter number 1 is here matter around us. Matter around us. So before going to the actual concept of this, okay, let us recollect some points or some terms which we have learnt in our earlier classes. Children, what is this? This is chalk piece and this is board, okay, and we are human beings, and water is, water is a universal solvent. Okay, so we drink water, we drink plenty of water. Yes or no? Like that, here if you'll observe, and the air around us, we can't see the air but we feel the air, and that in that air so many gases are present, like oxygen, nitrogen, water vapor, and inert gases also present. Okay, right. So here even carbon dioxide is also present, but very less percentage of carbon dioxide is present in the air. So right, so our main concept is matter. So the chalk piece, the blackboard, the benches you are sitting, okay, and the books you are holding, right, the chairs, all these comes under solids. What is this, children? All this comes under solids. Right, the water, oil, petrol, diesel, kerosene, okay, are the fluids which comes under liquids, and oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, inert gases. Yes or no? All this comes under gases. So solids, liquids and gases. So these are the three states of matter. What are the three states of matter? Solids, liquids and gases. So here solids, liquids and gases are the three states of matter. That means the matter is divided into three states. Everything is made up of matter. Either it might be solid, it might be liquid, or it might be gas. Okay, so these are divided into three states: solids, liquid and gas. Right, so in this lesson we are going to learn about the states of matter, the properties of matter and conversion of matter, right, from solid to liquid or liquid to gas. So here you can see there are certain changes. Okay, there are certain changes. So those changes are physical changes and chemical changes. Those changes are physical changes and chemical changes. So here you can observe that, children, the beautiful example is water only. The beautiful example is water. So usually the water is in which state, children? Yes, the usually water is in liquid state. We can convert the water into solid also. We can convert water into solid. But how is it possible? If you will keep the water in the fridge, like deep freeze, okay, then what will be formed? Ice cubes will be formed, yes or no? So that means the liquid is converted into solid by freezing. At the same time, when you take it out from the fridge, okay, and when you keep the ice blocks at room temperature, the ice solid can be converted into liquid, which is called liquefaction. So here you can see solid can be converted to liquid. Solid is converted to liquid. Liquid is converted to solid. So the best example, liquid is converted to solid is ice, which is called freezing. And solid is converted to liquid, so this is called liquefaction. Okay, right. So now one more thing is there. This water can also be converted to vapor. Yes, when, children? Yes, when you boil, okay, water is converted to vapor. So this is how you can convert one state into another state. So here this is vaporization. Conversion of liquid to vapor is called vaporization. So this is how we can convert solid to liquid and liquid to gas. The three states of matter. Now let us have a look into the lesson. So that is matter around us. So here the word matter is very specific meaning in science. Okay, the word matter has a very specific meaning. Let us try to understand the concept of matter. Children, you have learnt about metals and non-metals. Yes or no? Metals and non-metals, synthetic and natural fibers. Synthetic fibers are artificial fibers. Natural fibers are the fibers which are extracted from the plants and animals. And you have learnt about acids and bases in the 7th class. Yes or no? So you have learnt about metals and non-metals. You have learnt about synthetic and natural fibers. And you also learnt about acids and bases in the previous classes. These all are examples of matter only, children. And as I told you in the introduction only, so everything in this universe is made up of matter. Whether it might be acid, it might be base, it might be metal or non-metal, synthetic fiber or natural fiber or human being, earth, whatever you take. Okay, so everything is made up of matter. Right. So these all are examples of matter. All the things around us which exist in variety of shapes, size and texture. So all the things you can see, variety of shapes, sizes and texture. See here, you know about the shapes. See, the shape of chalk piece is this. The shape of bench you are sitting is different from chalk piece. The shape of book is different. The shape of the water which is there in the can is different. Bottle is different. The gas cylinder shape is different. So matter is of different shapes and different sizes also. The size of the chalk piece is this much only. The size of the bench is large. The size of the book is this much. Like that, there are different shapes also. Let us go for the texture. Children, this is another word, texture. Texture is nothing but, if you just hold the sugar, so sugar texture will be different from the salt texture. Yes or no? You can easily identify, maybe both are white in color. No doubt in this, both are white in color. But how can you identify? Either by tasting or by holding. Okay, so the sugar molecules are somewhat rough than the salt. Somewhat rough than the salt. Yes or no? So by closing your eyes also you can easily tell. Yes, by closing your eyes you can easily tell this is about. By closing your eyes, if you see, usually when the power is off, okay, during night time, if you want to get something from the bedroom or something from the hall or whatever, okay, so what you will do, children, while entering the room, you just simply, you will, what you will do, you will stretch your hands like this, yes or no, okay, and if any obstacle is there, so that first your hands touch that obstacle, and then by touching that obstacle or object, you can easily tell what the object is. Okay, you can identify the texture of your TV, you can identify the texture of your refrigerator, you can identify the texture of the floor, identify the texture of the wall, you can easily identify the texture of the human being also. Yes or no? So that is called as texture. So the texture of the matter of various substances is different, okay, and the sizes are different and the shape is also different, right? So the water we drink, the food we eat, the clothes we wear. Okay, the water we drink, our food, clothes and various things that we use in our day-to-day life, the air we breathe, even our body, etc. are examples of matter. So what not? Everything is the example of matter. So what it is given? Yes, the water we drink. Yes, we drink water. We won't drink the petrol, but petrol is also the example of matter. So either it might be a solid, it might be a liquid or gas. The air we breathe is also example of matter. The water we drink is example of matter. The clothes we wear is example of matter. The food we eat is example of matter. That means everything, whether the matter is in solid state, whether the matter is in liquid state, whether the matter is in gaseous state. Okay, don't mind. Okay, whatever the matter it might be, and whichever the state it might be, all these are examples of matter. So anything is world that occupies space and mass. So here the definition is anything. So anything in this world that occupies mass and space. Anything in this world that occupies mass and space is considered as matter. Now let us go for the states of matter. Okay, children, now let's see the states of matter. So here already we learned there are three states of matter. One is solid, the second one is liquid, and the third one is gas. So here in the previous classes you learned that water can exist. In the previous classes you learned that water can exist in three states. One is solid, the other one is liquid, and third one is gas. Water can exist in three states. One is solid, second one is liquid, and third one is gas. So example of water, water exists as solid in the form of ice. Yes or no, children? Water exists as solid in the form of ice, and in the form of liquid, generally water only, and so this is water only, and in the form of gas, water vapor. In the form of gas, what, children? Water vapor. So water exists as solid in the form of ice, and a liquid and gas in the form of water vapor. So these are the three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. We can say that solid, liquid, and gas are the three states of matter. Water can be found in three states of matter. Yes, water can be found in three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. And one question is there: is there any substance Is there any substance which can be found in three states of matter like water? The question is, yes, we know that water exists in three states: in the form of ice, in the form of liquid, and in the form of water vapor. Okay. And one question here is there any substance like water which can be found in three states? Yes or no? So the answer is no. Only water. Water is unique. The question is there any substance which can be found? Is there any substance which can be found in three states of matter? In three states of matter. So for this question, the answer is no. Only water only water can exist in three states. Okay, so for this question the answer is no. For which question? Is there any substance which can be found in three states means the answer is no. But only water can exist in three states. Only water can exist in three states. So only water is the substance which exists in three states. No other substance can exist in three states. The remaining substance, they may exist in two states, either liquid or solid, but not in three states. Only water is having that unique property. Water is having that unique property. Right. Now look carefully at different objects. Okay, around you. You can classify them into three states of matter. So you can take your classroom or your house, a room in your house, or anything which is present outside also. So just to make the classification, like solids, liquids and gases, you can make three columns and you can divide. For example, if you see the tree is a solid, so tree comes under solid. And if you feel oxygen, so oxygen is a gas, yes or no, which comes under the column gas. And if you see petrol, you can write petrol under the column liquid. So that you have to do. So you have to classify the things around you into three states, either solid, liquid and gas. So here, for example, you can say wood. So what is wood, children? Wood is not a fluid, wood is not a gas, wood is a solid. Wood is a solid and petrol is a liquid, and petrol is a liquid. Milk is also a liquid. So here see, milk and petrol, both are liquids. These both comes under liquids only. But if you clearly observe, the properties of petrol and the properties of milk differs. They are different. The properties of milk is different from the properties of petrol. So milk is also a liquid. Milk is also a liquid like petrol, but the properties of milk and the properties of petrol are different. So now the question is, one more question. What are the properties that led us to consider petrol or milk as liquids? So the question is, what are the properties? Okay, that led us to consider petrol or milk as liquids. Petrol or milk as liquids. I'm writing the question here. So here, what are the properties? What are the properties And we know that milk is having different properties from petrol. What are the properties, okay, that lead us to consider, so what are the properties that lead us to consider milk or petrol as liquids? Petrol or milk as liquids? So this is the question. So this is first question, and this is second question, which are there in the textbooks. Okay. So the first question is there any substance which can be found in 3 states of matter? No. Only water can exist in 3 states, not other substance. So that is the answer. Now the second question is, what are the properties that led us to consider petrol or milk as liquids? Children, yes, by seeing you can easily tell, yes, that is a petrol and that is a water, and by smell also. But there are certain properties, okay, that we can identify solid and a liquid. First one is, liquids do not have fixed or specific shape. Yes, children, can you tell the shape of a petrol? Can you tell the shape of oil? Can you tell the shape of water? We can't tell. If you pour into the container, it occupies the shape of the container. If you pour the water into bottle, yes, then we can tell, yes, the water is in the shape of bottle. Okay, so this is the first one. And second one is, these liquids have fixed volume. Liquids have definite volume. Yes or no? For example, if you take 500 ml, so this is a definite volume. 500 ml is half liter, and 1 liter, this is a definite volume. Yes or no? So here liquids have no fixed shape, and that means they don't have proper shape, they do not have fixed shape, and liquids have definite volume. Okay, and even they occupy the shape of the container and the volume of the container if you fill the volume. Okay, so this is the answer for this question. Let us do some activities to understand the properties of solids, liquids and gases. Okay, see children, let us have a look into the properties of solids, liquids and gases. Right. In that, first property is shape and volume. First one is shape and volume. So the question here is, do solids have definite shape and fixed volume? Do solids have definite shape and fixed volume? To answer this question, let us see here. Take two solid objects. Take two solid objects, say a pen or a pencil or a book, whatever. Okay, take two solid objects, a pen and a book, and put them in different containers. Put them in different containers. Okay, so here take two solid objects, and you can take chalk piece also, no problem. Pen or book or pencil or book, any two solid objects you can take. And you just keep those two solid objects in two different containers. Here my question is, do you find any change in the shape of those objects when they kept in the container? Do you find any change in their shape or volume? No, we can't find any change in the shape. Okay, why? Because already the solid shape is a fixed shape or a definite shape, and the volume is also fixed or definite. So the answer for the question is, do solids have definite shape and fixed volume? Yes. The answer is yes. Solids have definite shape and fixed volume. So once again I repeat, take two solid objects and keep them in two different containers. The question is, do you find any change in their shape or volume? No, we can't find any change. Why? Because solids shape is fixed and the volume is also fixed. Right. So you might have seen a wide range of solids in our surroundings. You might have seen a wide range of solids in our surroundings. So imagine a book or a pen, okay, dropped on the floor. Can you expect the book will be flown from one place to another place like a liquid? No. Why? Because the book or a pen or a pencil, all these are solids. Okay, if you just drop on the floor, they won't flow from one place to another place like a liquid. Why? Because the volume is fixed and the shape is also fixed. Now let us do an activity. Okay, children, this is activity 1. Now this activity is identifying the shape and volume of liquids. Identifying the shape and volume of liquids. So here, to do this activity or for doing this activity, we need two things. One is the measuring jar, which is a cylinder. The measuring jar. Why? Because these are different containers, children. These are different containers of different shapes. The first container is of this shape, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay, so these are different shaped containers having liquid of same volume. Having liquid of same volume. So the volume of this in this container, liquid in this container, and this container, in all these containers is same. For example, if you take 200 ml or 250 ml, okay, so here in this container is also having 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 250. That means the volume is same, but the shapes of the containers are different. And to pour liquid of the same volume in all the same container, different shaped containers, we need a measuring jar. Okay, children, usually you can see the person who sells the milk. Okay, now you can see the milk packets, but some people who sell the milk, okay, directly they sell the milk with the help of the measuring jar. If you want only 250 ml, yes, 250 ml, they will be having that jar. If you want 500 ml, they will be having 500 ml jar. So that is the measuring jar. So with the help of the measuring jar, now what you have to do, fill all the different shaped containers with equal volume, take 250 ml. So here, it is not compulsory to collect same containers as shown in the figure. You can collect the different shaped containers also that are available to you. We also need some liquids like water, oil and milk. So for doing this activity, what are required? Some liquids like water, oil and next one is milk. To do this activity, we require, the containers may be different. See children, the containers are different, but the liquid which is taken in all these containers is of same volume. Okay, here see, this is 250 ml, this is 250 ml, this is 250, this is 250, this is 250, this is 250. But the liquid, the volume is same. When poured into different shaped containers, the shape of the liquid is also changed. Yes or no? See the shape of the first one, the shape of the sixth one, fourth one, third one, second one, like that. We have taken same volume, no doubt in that we have taken same volume, but the shapes are different when we pour the same volume of liquid into different shaped containers. That means these liquids occupy the shape of the container. So here, take some water in one of the containers using the measuring jar. So we need three things here to do this activity: water, oil and milk. Water, oil and milk. So first of all, what you have to do, take some water in one of the containers using the measuring jar. You can take any one of the containers. For example, if you take this first one, this second, this is third, this is fourth, this is fifth, this is sixth. Now we will take this one to fill the water in this. Okay. Right. Pour some water in another container and have a look at the shape again. So we have poured the water here, again pour the water here. Okay, you just see the shape. The volume is same. You just see the shape. Here the shape is changed, here the shape is changed, here the shape is changed. So what is the shape of water in different containers? The answer is the water occupies the shape of the container. So the answer for this question is water occupies the shape of the container. Next one, is the shape of water same or different in all above cases? Is the shape of water is same or different? The shape of the water is different. Why? Because the shapes of the containers are different. The shapes of the containers are different. What shape does water take if it spills on the floor? Yes, if you will just pour the water on the floor, what is the shape of the water then? What is the shape of the water? You can't expect the shape. Why? Because the floor is not a container. The floor is not a container. It is an open space. Okay, so that water will be like it might be a circular in shape or spherical in shape or oval in shape. Okay, it is shapeless. It is shapeless. So the shape of the liquid, liquids have no shape and no volume actually. But they take the shape of the containers, they occupy the volume of the containers. So here in this activity, in the first step, what we have done, we have poured the water into one of the containers. Let us take the first container. And we have taken the same quantity of water in the second container. Okay, what did you observe? The shapes of the water is different when we poured into two different containers. Yes or no? That means water is taking the shape of the container. Right, now let us write the answers for these questions. Okay. Children, now let us answer the questions which are there on the board. First question, what is the shape of water in different containers? What is the shape of water in different containers? Do they have any shape or shapeless? Yes, they occupy the shape of the container. Okay, water occupies or water takes the shape of container. Water takes the shape of container. Second one, is the shape of water same or different in all the above cases? Different. So okay, so answer is different. Why? Because the shapes of the containers are different. That is why the shape of the water is also different. What shape does water take if it spills on the floor? What shapes does the water take? Shapeless. No shape. Shapeless or no shape. So you can write shapeless or no shape. So these are the answers for the questions. So what is the shape of the water in different containers? Water takes the shape of the container. Is the shape of water same or different in all the above cases? Different. What shape does water take if it spills on the floor? Shapeless or no shape. If it spills on the floor, can you expect any shape? No, children. Okay, right. So here see, now take 50 ml of water with the measuring jar and pour it into a tumbler. Mark the level of water on the tumbler and remove water from it. Now measure 50 ml of milk with the measuring jar and pour it in the same tumbler. Mark the level of the milk on it. Are the levels of water and milk same? Yes, of course. Why? Because, for example, if you take any glass tumbler, okay, so here see, if you take gas tumbler, first what you have to do, take 50 ml of water. Take 50 ml of water. So this is 50 ml of water. Now what you have to do, children? So after taking 50 ml of water with the measuring jar, pour it into a tumbler, mark the level of the water on the tumbler. Now just mark the level. So this is the level. Okay. Again, you have to remove this water, and what you have to do? You have to take petrol. You have to take petrol or milk, whatever. Okay. Take first. Initially, we have taken water. Okay, with the help of 50 ml measuring jar, and we have poured into the tumbler, and we have marked here. So this is the mark. Again, in the second case, what you have to do? In the second case, take 50 ml of milk. Take here 50 ml of milk. Again, mark the leveling. Okay, so the leveling will be here. So the levels of water in the first case, when you poured into the tumbler, and in the second case, when you poured into the tumbler, the milk levels are same. So the answer for this question is, are the levels of water and milk same? Yes. Remove the milk from the tumbler. Now pour oil up to the level of marked water. Can you guess the volume of oil? So this activity may seem very simple, but we observe two important properties of liquids. So if you pour water in the first case, if you pour milk in the second case, or if you pour water or petrol in the third case, okay, if you will take same volume like 50 ml, 50 ml and 50 ml, okay, the volume can't be changed. The volume is same. The volume is same. Okay, so here the shape of the liquid depends upon the shape of the container. Two properties we can observe. So by doing the first one, what I have concluded, all the liquids of same volume, okay, are occupying the different shape of the containers. And in the second one, though liquid takes different shapes depending on the shape of the containers, its volume remains same. See here, its volume, we have taken 250 ml, 250 ml here, 250 ml here, 250 ml here, all these are 250s only. Okay, maybe the shape is different, but the volume is same. That is the reason we have gone to the second activity by taking different liquids. In the first case, we have poured water into the tumbler, so we have marked the level. And in the second case, we have taken milk, we have marked the level. Okay, so both are 50 ml of water and 50 ml of milk. And in the third case, okay, we have taken petrol or oil, same level we got. That means the level of the fluid is not changing. So the volume of fluid is not changing. Okay, the volume of the fluid is not changing, but the shape is changing. So these are the two properties. What are the two properties? The shape of the liquid depends on the shape of the container. So here see, there are different shapes of the containers. So the liquid, after pouring into these containers, are occupying different shapes. And second one, though liquid takes different shapes depending upon the shape of the container, its volume remains same. The volume is same. So liquids can flow easily, hence they are called fluids. Why the liquids are called fluids? Why? Because liquids are called fluids. Liquids are called as fluids. Why they are called as fluids? Because they flow easily. Because they flow easily. Okay, children, if you'll observe, solids can't flow, but liquids can flow easily. That is why they are called fluids. Look into a dictionary of science to get its meaning. You may find the gases have no fixed shape like liquids. Yes, the liquids are occupying the shape of the containers, and here the liquids are occupying shape of container. Liquids do not have particular shape. That is why if you spill the liquid or if you spill the water on the floor, again it is becoming shapeless. If the liquid is poured into any container only, it is occupying. Like gases also like that only. Gases also flow like liquids, hence both gases and liquids are called fluids. Then what are the differences between liquids and gases? See children, solids are having definite shape and definite volume, no doubt in that. Liquids are not having definite shape. Okay, they occupy the shape of the container, and their liquids are not having proper shape or definite shape, but they have definite volume. If you pour 250 only, so 250 ml is the volume. Okay, yes or no? If you pour 100 ml only, 100 ml is the volume. Depending upon the shape of the container, the volume remains same. That's what we have learned from the activity. Let's go for the gases. Gases also do not have proper shape. Okay, that gases are also called as fluids. Why? Because gases can flow like liquids. Liquids are called as fluids. Why? Because liquids are called as fluids. Why? Because they flow easily. Like that, the gases also flow easily. Solids cannot be flown. Yes or no? Solids can't flow. They remain, they stay at a place only. If you keep a book there, the book will be there only. It can't go from one place to another place. Okay, but you can expect water and gases. That is the reason if any gas leakage is there in one place, that smell can be detected so far also. That means gases will be passing from one place to another place. And liquids also, you can see, if you pour water in the hall, a bucket of water in the hall, slowly the water can go into the slope, whether there is a bathroom, whether there is a kitchen. Okay, the water will be directed towards the slope. Yes or no? So that means water will be flowing from one place to another place. Gases also will be flowing from one place to another place. That is why liquids and gases are called as fluids. But there are differences between gases and liquids. Okay, if you want to know that, let us go for one more activity, that is activity 2. Okay. Children, now let's see activity 2. Do the gases have definite shape and a fixed volume? So we have seen the liquids do not have a definite shape but have a fixed volume. Okay, now solids have definite shape and a fixed volume. Liquids do not have a definite shape and they have a fixed volume. But what about the gases? Let us see. You might have heard about CNG. What is CNG, children? CNG. C for compressed. C for compressed. And N for natural. C for compressed, N for natural, and G for gas. So this is called as CNG. Okay, so CNG is compressed natural gas. Go to a CNG pump. So like a petrol pump. Okay, so in petrol pump, petrol and diesel are available. Like that, some automobiles can work with CNG gas, like cars. Yes or no? And the trucks also. So go to a CNG pump, like a petrol pump, the CNG gas pump is available. Okay, so go to that CNG pump and ask them where this CNG is stored. Usually this CNG is stored in a large tanks, children. Okay, and here, next one. Also see where CNG is stored in a CNG run vehicle. So you can see that figure 2, CNG cylinder in a car. Okay, so if you keep a CNG cylinder, then there is no need of petrol or diesel. The automobile or the car works with the help of this gas only. And figure 4, you can take CNG tank at a fuel filling station. From the above here said, now the question is, does CNG have a fixed volume? Does CNG have a definite shape? The questions are, does CNG compressed natural gas have a fixed volume? Have a fixed volume. This is the question. Does CNG have a fixed volume? And second one, does CNG have a fixed shape, definite shape? Does CNG have a definite shape? So these are the two questions. To answer these two questions, let us go more deep into the topic. From the observations in the above activity and with our daily life experiences, we can find that CNG and all other gases neither have a fixed shape nor have a fixed volume. So does CNG have a fixed volume? The answer is no. Does CNG have a fixed definite shape? The answer is no. See, children, first one, solids have both. Liquids have only one, that is fixed volume. The gases, they neither have a definite shape nor fixed volume. You can't expect anything. But in liquids you can expect only one, that is fixed volume. In solids you can expect both. So that is the difference. So next one, let us go for the compressibility. So what is that? Compressibility. Okay, what is this, children? Compressibility. So this is activity 3. Activity 3. Okay, right. Children, see the figure 5. What is that person doing? Children, do you know syringe? Usually when you go to hospitals, these syringes and the needles are common. Yes or no? So usually when you observe the nurse or a doctor giving the injection, what he will do? He will keep the needle and he or she will suck the air. Yes or no? And after filling the syringe with the medicine, what they will do? They will again push the piston like this. Push the piston like this. If they push the piston like this with the help of the needle, what happens? That medicine will go inside. Yes or no? Like that, sometimes what they will do? They will give in the form of saline. Okay, what these people will do in the hospital? They won't give directly to your skin. They won't pierce. Already there is a saline, yes or no, which is pierced through the skin, through the vein. So what they will do? They directly give the injection to or medicine in that saline, and through the saline, the medicine will be taken into your body. So what I'm telling here is, the syringe consists of a piston. If you take like this, okay, then the air is reduced. Automatically when you push like this, see children, usually while playing Holi you will be having the guns like this, yes or no? What you will do? You will fill that particular gun, okay, with that colored water, and when you will push the piston, so due to that pressure, automatically the liquid will be sprayed. So here also, when you see, for drying the liquid like this you have to do, and for pushing the liquid you have to do like this. So pull or push. So pulling is taking the liquid and pushing is drying once again. Pulling is taking the liquid and pushing is passing the liquid into that. So this is common with the syringe. Now what you have to do in this activity means, take 50 ml of syringe. What you have to take, children? 50 ml of syringe. So syringes are of different volumes here. So what you have to do? Take 50 ml of syringe. Draw the piston to suck in air. So just draw the piston to suck in air. Place your finger on the nozzle. So this is the nozzle. The thumb finger which you have kept, which this person has kept, is the nozzle. So first of all, what you have to draw the piston. Draw the piston to suck in air. So if you draw the piston, the air will be sucked. And now what you have to do? You have to push the piston. Okay. Observe the depth of the piston moved into the syringe. Is it easy or hard? It is easy, children. It is easy. Do you find any change in the volume of the air in the syringe? So when you will draw the piston, yes, when you will draw the piston, the air will be sucked, and again you are pushing that, so that the air will be, okay, pushed here. Next one, now fill the water in the syringe. So that is in the case of air. Now what you have to do? In the place of air, what you have to do, children? You have to keep water and press the piston. When it is very easier to press the syringe with water or air? Yes, of course with air, children. Why? Because in the air, the gas molecules, the distance between the gas molecules is large when compared with water, and here the gases in the air are compressible. That is the reason you can keep the large gas, you can compress the gas in a small cylinder. That usually we are cooking the things in our home now. From the cylinder only we are getting the LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. So that is compressed actually. So when you open that, the gas will be spreaded. The same thing you can observe in the perfume bottle. Okay, in the perfume bottle, usually the gas is there. Yes or no? So when you will press the nozzle, the spray will be spreaded. Yes or no? So that is a very, very important thing here. The gases are compressed. So here it is easy to push the syringe when there is air when compared to water. So now take a piece of wood and press it with your thumb. So that is the first case. You have pushed the nozzle when there is air. In the second case, you have pushed the nozzle or piston of the syringe when there is water. In both the cases, you observe that when there is air, it is very easy to push when compared to water. Now take the wood. Now take the wood and press it. Is it very easy to press, children? No, it is not very easy. That means it is very clear that when compared to solids, liquids and gases, okay, so here you find that gases are highly compressible as compared to liquids and solids. In our houses, liquefied petroleum gas, simply that is called LPG, liquefied. P means petroleum, P means petroleum and G means gas. So liquefied petroleum gas, the gas which are using in our house for the purpose of cooking is LPG, is used for nowadays. CNG is used for automobiles. Compressed natural gas is used for automobiles. LPG is used for domestic purpose, that is for cooking. For all these purposes, large volume of gas is compressed into cylinders and of small volume to make it portable. Large volume of gas can be okay, compressed into the small cylinder to make it very easy and portable. So now we have think and discuss. Let us see that. Okay.